What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 6 of the Rise of a Nation here with FC Edmonton. And on screen, you can see the player who, for me, I'm quickly becoming attached to. Connor James, hometown hero of Edmonton. If we just look at his information, you can see he's born in Edmonton. He's become our first choice goalkeeper. Yes, he's not got the best average ratings. Yes, he might not be incredible statistically, 6 clean sheets in 16. Maybe he could be a little bit better, but he's improved a lot this year, the 23-year-old. We are currently sending him on a leadership course. I feel like this guy could be future club captain. That's what I dream of seeing. But yeah, he's just been superb this year, and he's improved a lot, as is kind of indicated, you can see by his pros, with some potential to hopefully fulfill. So yeah, keep an eye on him. But, well, things are going pretty well here. Of course, if you missed last episode, do go check it out. We took on Ottawa Fury. Since then, we have played 2 matches. We took on York 9 in the league, and you can see here, Valour got a goal for us, but it meant absolutely nothing. York 9 running out 3-1 victors at home. Yeah, an interesting game, this one, in terms of a midweek fixture, heading over to the Toronto area, the suburbs, and we took on York 9, and they kind of demolished us. Ryan Telfer, speaking of Toronto, on loan, of course, from Toronto, a player who we've already agreed to sign next transfer window. He got 2 goals against us. I mean, that's kind of typical, isn't it? You sign a player and you agree the deal, and he joins you at the end of the year and he scores in the meantime. He got 2 here. Hopefully, he's going to be able to do that for us. But yeah, he was the standout performer in this game, and 3-1 was a little bit disappointed, even if we were playing our rotated 11. You can see Telfer here, of course. We've already got the bid made on him. He's joining us at the end of his contract. I'm pretty excited about it. And, well, speaking of players who are going to be joining us, you can see in our next game we took on Pacific FC and won 5-1. Great performance, this one. Caden Chung at right back for Pacific. He got a 5.6 rating. We've agreed to sign him. Let's hope that's not a sign of things to come. But yeah, this game was superb. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to squeeze in all the highlights, but I feel like the pick of the goals in terms of the... I don't know what the right word is. Basically, the pick of the goals in terms of the ones which sentimentally meant the most to me was the fact that Tommy Amiobi got a hat-trick, and it was a very, very quick hat-trick as well. All the goals coming, well, within, 5 minutes of either half, 10 minutes of either half. It was a demolition affair, and yeah, 5-1 it finished. Good little way to bounce back. And, well, Chung, who we've agreed to sign, he had a game to forget. You can see his profile here. He looks very, very good, to be fair. He's only 20 years old, loads of room to improve. He's going to come to us as more of a backup option, but his versatility is very much welcome. I feel like he's not always going to perform that badly. I'm going to blame his teammates around him at Pacific. I think we're going to get the most out of him, but yeah, he's been a good little player. Anyway, you can see here Connor James starting that leadership course. It's going to cost us £960. He has 7 leadership. We'll see if it improves over the course of the next few episodes. Anyway, shifting our attention to what we've got today, we are going to be taking on Valour FC. It is a double header today. We've actually got them in the league in between the 2 Canadian Championship games, but this, of course, the game that really matters. So yeah, we're going to do the 2 Cup semi-final legs today in one episode. So we're going to start off here. We're at home for the first leg, which fills me with some confidence. In terms of the team we're going to go with, I think we're going to go with what I perceive to be my best 11, which I think is this. Although Bruno Zebi, you see, he's got 3 assists and 2 goals out on the left-hand side of midfield for us. Osorio, who started the season as our starter, only has 1 assist. Now, he has been grumbling a little bit about lack of first-team football, but I'm going to put that to the back of my mind. We're going to give Bruno Zebi the run out because he is the player who's been getting the assists. In terms of the rest of the team, I kind of feel like I should maybe be giving Diallo a chance, but if we just look at goal scorers, you can see Amiobi's got 10 goals, Diallo's got 9 goals, Sarkaria's got 9 goals, and both Sarkaria and Tommy Amiobi have chipped in with assists as well. So we'll have Diallo as the impact sub option today. I do really like the fact we've got 3 goal scorers contributing so much. If you look at the assists as well, you can see how they're kind of spread around. Perhaps worth ignoring Valour FC just a little bit because some of those assists have come prior to him appearing in the first team. In fact, all of them have when he was playing in the Alberta Soccer League. But you can see he's been improving a fair bit. And much like a lot of the youngsters we've promoted into the first team, They are developing and benefiting from the first team opportunities we've given them. Players like Justin Yard looks very, very good as a striker. Prince Amanda, I mean, he's slowly becoming a king for us. I mean, you're probably wondering how long that pun was going to take to happen, weren't you? It's fair enough. But no, we have been using our reserve team, have been rotating things around, and I think that's really shown actually by, if we just sort by appearances, just the fact that the only player who's not made that many appearances is Dylan Powley, who's been injured all year. And the next lowest is Chandel Senior, who I've added a face for. The young Jamaican player we signed last episode, you might remember. He's joined us as a hot prospect on a 3-year contract. I really, really like this guy. I feel like he is the long-term successor, potentially, to Marcelin as that ball-winning midfielder. If we just compare the two of them, they're kind of surprisingly similar. Obviously, Chandel Senior, perhaps a little more creative, a little bit better when it comes to his vision, defensively and physically. Not quite cut from the same cloth, perhaps. But in terms of the positions they cover and such, I really feel like these two guys are similar. And I feel like Marcelin and Chandel Senior, we might experience a bit of a passing of the flame between those two players over the course of the next few years. Anyway, we've talked about our team for today's game. It's fairly standard, as you can see. Of course, we've talked about Connor James. Soria is going to play centre-back. At left centre-back, we're going to go with Kareem Moses. He has been top draw for us this year, to be fair. At right-back, we are going to go with Tem Guia. You can just look at his profile here. He's been very, very good. A bit of an unsung hero. Was concerned about his lack of important matches and consistency, but it's not proven to be a massive stumbling block in the end, which is good news. We then have Marcelin as the defensive midfielder. In the centre mid positions, we're going to go with Lincourt Joseph on the left centre mid position. To his right, we've got more Totsi, of course. Between these two guys and Marcelin, we have a nice trio of midfielders who are very much on the same wavelength. Zebi's on the left, Edwini Bonsu's on the right, Sakaria and Amiobi leading the line, hoping for goals from both of these guys today. It's a cup semi-final. It's a big day. Let's get into the first leg of today's episode, shall we? As I said, we will do both legs today. I'm not going to do the league game against Valour in between because I feel like playing the same team 3 times in a single episode, you'd get a little bit of a Valour overdose, I feel like, with that much in your Football Manager diet. So for that reason, we're going to cut out that game in the middle. I think we're going to play the rotated team for it. As you've seen by that defeat to York 9 and the bounce back against Pacific, we have been a little bit more hit and miss, which was always somewhat expected. You know, the fact we might blow a little bit hot and cold in this autumn season, you know, following the split and the second stage happening. Because we won the spring split, I was kind of a little more willing to rotate things. That's not to say I'm not disappointed by how we've performed in games like the New York 9 game. I still expect us to be competitive. And in that game, we really weren't. But anyway, let's shift our focus here. Of course, the winner of this game earns the right to play against MLS opposition. We'll hope it can be us. We did squander a really good opportunity, you might have noticed, right at the start of this game. And so far here, Valour are actually bullying us for possession, which is something we really have prided ourselves on. It is kind of just how much possession we can hold. I'm pleased to say we have kind of grown into this game throughout this first half, but it would be fair to say early on, it's not exactly been a classic. We are entering an interesting point. I've seen some comments about people concerned, you know, is the Canadian Premier League going to be too easy? I feel like the first year we were always going to be at a bit of a benefit. And for a second I thought we might get through. But obviously I felt like we were always going to be a bit of a benefit first year because the AI in Football Manager isn't always the best at squad building right at the very beginning. But, and it's a bit of a big but really, you've got to consider that every single Canadian team is a brand new side. There's all this gelling that needs to be done, tactical systems that have to be learned. And I feel like it's only a matter of time before they start to catch us up. And maybe Valour are doing just that. That was a really nice finish by Bustos at the back post. Petrasso, with the ball from the right-hand side, crosses it in. We do lack consistency in big matches, so going into a cup semi-final, it's always a little bit nervy. Of course, when we took on Forge, you might remember earlier on in the year, we came kind of crumbling, just kind of fell apart, didn't we? In that one game we needed to win for continental qualification. In the other game, it is Toronto 0, Vancouver 0. Just while it's on my mind, before I forget, because I will forget, and I want to check it because people have asked about it. How did Forge get on in the North American League? So if we look here, they lost both legs 2-0, and since then, they've done absolutely awfully, my word. What has happened to Forge? Okay, Welshman got injured, their star striker, and it looks like Franco's been injured as well. And Kyle Becker needs a rest. I thought he was injured. He's not injured at all. He just needs he's just feeling tired, bless him. But yeah, that's a bit of a shock, actually, the fact that Forge have fallen off how they have. Valour, on the other hand, have kind of emerged as a very, very good squad. So I'm expecting a bit of a game here. I feel like we've already experienced that. And well, Morel now with a free kick. Connor James saves it. The rebound is given offside. Golubar jumped the gun. It's a little bit of a let-off, isn't it? My word. We can take a look here. I mean, he really has jumped the gun there. The ball saved by Connor James. What an athletic stop. Unfortunately, fortunately, I guess they've followed up, but it's been offside. I'm going to make some changes here. Edwin Bonsu's not been particularly great, so we're going to move Zebi onto the right and bring in Osorio. I'm not afraid to drop one of our star players if he's not really performing. I will say that Zebi on the right-hand side hasn't been doing particularly great either. I'm just wondering what other changes I might want to do here. Sakari has been poor. Let's bring in Diallo. I feel like Diallo's the player we can bring in, you know, unchained. He comes into games, he's hungry for it now. The shackles are off. Hopefully he can show us what he's made of. Before that change can happen, though, we are going to have another chance here. Winnie Bonsu whips in Tommy Amiobi. Headers it narrowly over the crossbar. A really good opportunity there for us. Keeper may well have had it covered. But we are... Well, we're on the front foot now. Can we get a goal? Lincourt Joseph. Where is Diallo? He's there lurking on the last man. You can see him. Lincourt Joseph. Can he get the ball away? Finds some space. Hits it. Oh my gosh, he hits the woodwork. Thomas gets it clear. What an effort by Lincourt Joseph. Bulldozed his way through the centre of the midfield there. It kind of fell to him. Unfortunately, the post denies him. Got one last change in this game. I'm going to take off Lincourt Joseph, who's struggling a little bit with fitness. We're going to bring in Lamotte for him to play the playmaker role for us. Nice win by Moses. Now with Olosunde, who passes it back to Correo. Switch to Bustos, the goal scorer. Can we stop him getting the ball in? We can just about. Soria reads it. What can we do now from the Lamotte with his beautiful blonde locks? Gets dispossessed. That's not the impact you want to see from your sub. And now Petrasso is bringing the ball forward for them. He crosses it in. Oh my god, what are we doing? Federico Mendes Pena. What a name that is. Valour 2-0 up. Somewhat against the run of play, I feel like. But fair play to them. They've outplayed us and we really could do with a goal. Really, really could do with a goal before we have to play them again in the second leg. Because heads might drop a little bit off the back of this. We needed to be better. We didn't take the few half chances that came our way. Fair play to Valour. They kind of stretched us wide quite a lot. Something that teams haven't really done this year. Exploiting the free centre-backs. And they were clinical when those chances came their way. They took both of them. And that's just not good enough, is it, boys? That is not the performance we wanted to see. Toronto won it in the first leg of the other semi-final. Valour profit from the Wasteful Eddies. The Wasteful Eddies sounds like a band name. Not a good band, but a band name nevertheless. Right, Soria's going to be banned for the league game. That's not the end of the world, because I think we will rotate our team for this next game against Valour. I'm going to do off camera. Hopefully we can bounce back a little bit. It'll be interesting to see if they rotate their team around or if they stick with their strongest 11. Because if they do that, it said do-do. But if they do that, Valour are going to maybe be struggling a little bit for fitness come next Wednesday for the second semi-final. Anyway, let's have a time jump in time. We'll come back for the highlights of that Valour game in between these two cup semi-finals. And, well, we have a fight back that we need to achieve. Let's see how we get on. Okay, guys, so here we are. We're back for the second leg against Valour. And, well, if the last game against them in the cup didn't go to plan, the game in the league really didn't go to plan. We lost again. Yes, 2-0 it finished. And our form is just not looking very good now, is it? I mean, you can see the goals here. The first one was a wonder goal. The second goal for them was through Attardo in the 40th minute. And we just never really looked at the races. And with that result, I mean, you can see just looking at our fixtures kind of here, it's just not good, is it? One win in our last four. Now, granted, we have played Ottawa, obviously, and Valour in the cup in that time, but still in the league, it could be a little bit better. If we just look at the league, actually, You can see here we're down in 4th, which is really less than ideal. Currently, Halifax Wanderers are running away with things. They have only lost 1 of their opening 8 games of the year. That is a better record than we had in our opening stage. To give you an idea, like, teams are just improving around us, obviously. We lost against York there, right there above us. Valour really aren't doing that well, considering all the problems that they've caused us. In terms of average ratings, you can see here Diallo is leading the way. Tommy Amiobi and Tenguia also doing well. Sarkaria, most player of the matches, and Connor James up there with clean sheets. So, despite not the best, perhaps, league position, we're doing okay, I guess. We've got a game in hand. If we win that, it would help us out. If we were to lose it, mid-table just seems like it's where we're going to be for this kind of autumn season. You can see if we look at the schedule, we've got HFX Wanderers in September. We might do that next episode. I might go a little further away to maybe the Cavalry game, and then with one eye obviously on the playoff that will be, well, it looks like it's going to be against Halifax. Of course, this stage is made up of 18 matches as opposed to the 10 that we played previously. So there's still a little bit of football to be played, but yeah, Halifax right now, they just look like the best of the rest, and maybe they're the best including us, really. But anyway, let's get into today's second leg. We need to bounce back. And you might be sat here going, Jack, something's different. Yeah, something is different. I'm sick of Valour tearing me apart in the wide areas. So we're going to try something different today. We're going to try playing wing backs. Now, we don't really have natural fullbacks, which, of course, when you're then trying to play a system that has fullbacks, makes things difficult. In terms of personnel, it's not that different to the team that we'd normally play. We've just kind of moved a few players around. You know, Edwini Bontu's gone from right mid to centre attacking mid. We've ditched the centre defensive mid and obviously the 2 wide midfielders in favour of wing-backs. I'm hoping that this will give us a little bit more defensive shape. Now, we're away from home here against Valour. You can see with the system, we're going to play cautiously. We are going to still try and play out of the defence, but we want to kind of, you know, play quickly, transition quickly here. I want to see how we get on hitting teams on the break. I feel like we've experienced a lot of success early on, dominating possession, but as teams are, I think, becoming more adapted to one another, they're learning their managers' systems, they are starting to cause us problems. And so with that in mind, I feel like we need a backup plan, and especially if we do go on, you know, to compete in the Canadian Championship final, if we can get there, which seems like a tall order, or even, you know, the North American League next year, thinking further ahead, the North American Champions League, we're going to need a counter-attacking system of some kind, and I think a system like this, it is similar enough to our main system that we've had a lot of success with this year, that we can kind of have the same personnel cover both, but play drastically different styles of play. That's my thinking, at least. So, yeah, this is the team we're going to go with. I'm just wondering, actually, with Sarkaria, I think I've got these roles left on from when we had the 4-4-2, which is the system I've ditched in order to set this up. You might remember we were kind of playing it was like a 4-2-2-2. It was one of my backup systems. We used it once and it worked okay then, but I wasn't overly sold on it. Obviously, this is our regular system. You can see it's not really a drastic change by any means. You know, just dropping some players deeper. I feel like, hopefully in the wide areas, it's just going to give us a little bit more cover. But anyway, let's get into today's game and see how we get on. We've got everything to do here, being 2 goals down and having lost to them in the midweek game as well, Valour. This is not going to be easy. I feel like their 4-4-2 has proven to be somewhat of a kryptonite for us. So I'm hoping that this new system might just work in our favour a little bit more. I feel like it should, in terms of eliminating some of the areas out wide. I feel like with 3 centre-backs, matching up against Valour's 4-4-2, where they do let the wingers really get high up the pitch, it just wasn't a great matchup for us. So we've made some tactical changes, which I'm hoping are going to be for the better. I mean, cue them to score immediately. We've not really got a great deal to lose by changing things up here. Like, we've got to do something different. It just really hasn't worked to start. Of course, if we struggle in this game or if we start needing goals, we will probably switch to the more attacking system. It's a system we can quite easily kind of flick a switch and go to. But I at least want to try and stay a little bit more solid at the back to start things out here. We'll see how we get on. Obviously, we're doing a team talk. They're doing a team talk from the sideline as well, the Valour manager. It's a battle of the tactics. We'll have to see how we get on here today. You can see kind of this system here is where we would have had problems before, but you can already see instead of it being the wide midfielder challenging Bustos, the wing-backs have dropped off, and actually it's players, in the final third, the centre mids coming over to help us out there, which is really what this change is all about. We'll see what we can do here. Hoyle finding space down the wing. The only issue is that Asua and Osorio aren't necessarily the craziest kind of wing-backs in the world. They could be better at it. At the same time, they're not too bad considering that we never really formed this squad with the intention of playing fullbacks as a primary system, or wingbacks even. When we came in, yes, there are some players who can play wingback, but that wasn't a priority. It was more about can they play there if we need them to, and while they can, I'll tell you who can score when we need them to. It's Aji Sakaria, who has got a fantastic goal. Edwini Bonsu, with the ball up, he's playing that central role today. Is Edwini Bonsu. He's been playing out on the right-hand side of midfield, not had a great deal of success there, but as a centre attacking mid, he has potential. We're passing like that. Maybe we'll play him there more often. A great little counter-attack. It was kind of one long ball up the pitch to catch Valour out. But that is what we needed in this game. It's been a pretty tight game. We've actually had more of the ball despite playing a more cautious style. And while the ball's going to be whipped in, Moses, free header at the back post. You could see he parted the Valour defence like parting the Red Sea. Unfortunately, Moses could not lead us to glory and to safety right there with a goal. You can see in the other game, Vancouver have scored 3 to, drastically turn around their game against Toronto. That is a pretty crazy scoreline to see in that other game. We're going to get just a little bit shouty. Still got plenty to do here. This is not done and dusted. We need more. Great to see us be more competitive than we have been in previous meetings against Valour, but still perhaps a little short of the expectations that I've set for our team. Anyway, 65 minutes gone. There comes a point here where we do have to go more attacking, and I think that point is now. So we're going to go to our more attacking system. I'm going to keep Edwini Bonsu on because he's played so well. And we're going to drop Marcelin into his normal position. And I think we're going to bring in Lincourt Joseph. We're going to bring him in to play that playmaker role. It's a role he's done well. Of course, we've been training him to play left midfielder this year. Recently, started training him to play centre attacking mid. You can actually see, looking at it, he's already learnt how to play it. Now, that's a good sign, I guess. But he's just adding, a few more strings to his bow. Is Lincourt Joseph when it comes to his versatility. We could potentially make further changes here. Osorio has not had the craziest of games. I'm going to bring in Bruno Zebi for him out on the left-hand side. Let's see what Bruno can do for us. This is the system that really hasn't worked that well against Valour, but with us needing another goal, I've kind of got to push men forward, and I'm actually going to continue to do it. We're going to go to this. Now, this kind of shape is one that I talked about a few episodes ago as being a system that I could see us maybe playing down the line. I feel like this could be a good, more attacking option. If our default 3-1-4-2 kind of on control is the regular style of play, I think something like this could be our attacking system. Anyway, we've got a chance here. Zebi, free kick, narrowly over. Not a bad effort at all. Just seconds left, though, in this game. Valour look like they're going to do one over on us. We might have one last chance. Ramon Soria, can he get it in? He does, but Farrago's there. And despite what is, I guess on the face of it, and due to recent form, not the worst result in the world here, winning, and actually being dominant in the game statistically, unfortunately for us, it's just not enough. Valour, fair play to them. Fair play to them. They caused us issues, they were tricky, and they deserve to go through to the Canadian Championship final. It's another big game where we've kind of gone a bit missing. And it does leave me a little bit nervous knowing that the Canadian Premier League is settled on a playoffs kind of system that we've struggled as much as we have this year. But that is a concern for next time, I think. Before we go, just one other thing that I do want to mention, because I think this is really cool. I was able to ask the board for an extra coach spot, and I managed to find a new coach. And some of you FC Edmonton fans out there will recognise this man. Colin Miller, who was manager of FC Edmonton during their days in the North American Soccer League, he has joined us as a coach, which is really cool to have the former manager here. I would love to get Jeff Paulus in as well at some point, who is the current manager. He does incidentally follow me on Twitter, These two guys worked together before with Jeff as assistant and Colin as the head honcho. There's kind of been a passing of the torch there. I'd like to get Jeff back. We could get the whole gang back together. It'd be fantastic. But no, you can see here, looking at Colin Miller, he's a very, very good coach for this level. In fact, I don't even know if I actually assigned him in our coach's setup here. I don't know if I did. I did, but I didn't take off Sabane, who can stay on technical. You can see he's a very, very good defensive coach at this level. Makes it one of our best areas, tactical defending, which, to be honest, might be quite a good benefit, because defensively we have looked a little lacklustre at points in this year. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up everything from me today. In terms of when we'll be back, I think we might do the Cavalry game towards the end of September. I don't think we'll do Valour again for a little while. Pacific are going pretty strong as well. We'll keep an eye on both Pacific and Halifax Wanderers. But I think the Pacific game could be a pretty good one to come back for, depending on how things are going. Of course, we're going to be playing the winner of the autumn season. We are going to have a youth intake in around October time, so that'll be something else to look forward to. And, well, within the next couple of episodes, we're going to be wrapping up Season 1 already. You might have noticed in the Canadian Premier League, the seasons are short. We are going to be banging through them. And, well, hopefully that's going to result in us being able to develop some good little youngsters and really enjoy this adventure through Canada. If you have enjoyed today's episode, do drop a like on it. It does really, really help me out. I'm massively appreciative of you guys and your watching of this series, your viewership. Very much appreciated. Of course, make sure to check out the series playlist down below. Go catch up on any episodes you've missed. Of course, we've also got Leon Live going on at the moment. You can see that too on the channel. And, well, I will see you guys again very, very soon. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.